Hello and welcome back to another video. ThunderousTherapist here, and it's the 8th episode of the ThunderousTherapist series. As usual, I suggest watching all the previous episodes before proceeding in this one, but without further ado, let's get to the questions. So, for the first question, it reads as follows. I have an addiction that has been going on for so long. I tried quitting, but after doing it for almost every day, I just can't quit. None of my friends nor family members know about it, and I feel that I shouldn't tell them because it would change their perspective on myself and they will hate me. I feel sad that I couldn't quit, and I really wish I could have quit at an earlier stage. What should I do? So to start off, it's going to be more difficult to answer this question because you didn't specify what this addiction of yours is. Whether it's an alcohol addiction, drug addiction, tobacco addiction, vape addiction, or anything else you do or ingest exorbitantly, I know an efficient method to progressively stop. So to understand better, the reason why we get addicted to anything in the first place is due to our brain releasing dopamine as a result of continuing the addiction. And dopamine is responsible for receiving pleasure, and so we obviously want to keep receiving it, so thus we get addicted. Now the most efficient way to avoid addiction in the first place is to not start something that is both unhealthy for you and easily addictive. But you could technically get addicted to anything. Now if you're thinking to quit immediately, that is actually not the correct approach, as you'll likely experience withdrawal symptoms and unbearable cravings. So I advise instead to whoever asks this question, slow down the frequency to your addiction, make it less frequent each day moving forward. Then after a decent amount of time, you'll be able to stop entirely more easily. Obviously, you'll still experience minor cravings, but they wouldn't be as tremendous as cravings you experience if you stopped immediately instead. Now about informing your friends and family, that's really up to you, but if you think they'd be extremely judgmental and possibly dissociate from you, then I would suggest you don't, because I would honestly find it unfair for others to berate you over something like this, not give you a chance and developing a grudge against you instead of trying to help you improve yourself. But I do believe people have the right to react however they want to anything, but it doesn't always mean others will agree with it. There are some things that are better off kept to ourselves. So I hope my advice helps, and I hope you're able to abolish this addiction soon. So moving on to question 2, it reads as follows. Hello, I hope I get selected. This might be a little weird depending on your view, but I'm gay and black, and as a black gay man, it's been difficult because a lot of people will joke about people like me at school, and sometimes it's offensive. All I want in life is another man who's also black and gay like me, but it's like those kind of people don't exist. One time I found another person who was gay, but he was white and my desires took the better of me. I then went out with him for some reason, and as our relationship grew, I didn't like him, and one day I told him that, and soon after he started getting so rude around me and clowning me in front of the whole school, and I just don't know what to do about it. I've talked to the principal about this, but she never did anything about it, so if you have advice, I'd appreciate it. Thanks. By the way, don't think your question sounds weird, as we sometimes need to discuss uncomfortable and controversial topics to be able to learn and understand the subject better. Anyway, I did discuss my view on LGBTQ+ in a previous episode, so please go watch that if you haven't already. You being homosexual does not initiate a safety or mental health concern for you or others, so therefore I don't see any clear issue with it. It is your personal choice, and you shouldn't have to rely on the opinion and approval of others to determine how you should be. Everyone is different, and if you believe that this choice will be suitable for you, then I would say that you should continue to abide with your decision. I would neglect those who berate you on the account of your sexuality, as they are likely seeking a reaction from you, and if you don't present a reaction to them, then hopefully they'll get bored and stop. So hopefully all the advice I bestowed helps, and I wish you the best of luck on your journey. Okay, so moving on to question 3, who is by It's Sub-Zero. It reads as follows. In June, my friends and I were hanging out, and my part-time friend came, and I hated him for some reason, and he told him to piss off or go away, but he said no. So then it became a big argument, and my other friend who I recently met in May and I were stuck in the middle, and the one who hated my part-time friend the most started swearing and yelling at him. Since that big argument happened, they've been calling him names or throwing insults at my part-time friend. I'm starting to get sick of this crap. I just feel like our friendship is falling apart behind my part-time friend and I, because my friends keep telling me to keep away from him even though he's done nothing wrong to me. By It's Sub-Zero. Alright, well this just seems like your friends are quarreling with each other over such trivial matter, and now have a vendetta against this friend of yours as a result. I would firstly advise them to apologize to each other and move on, as inciting more feud will only make this matter worse. But if that comes to no prevail, then it's probably time to dissociate with these people if they are incessantly being negative and will abolish your vendetta. Now I know this answer seems inadequate, but I really don't have anything else to say to such immature feud. Anyway, I do hope my advice helps, and hopefully these people gain some civility. Okay, so moving on to question 4, it reads as follows. Every time I do something, my friend says it's cringe. I just keep feeling like I'm cringe. What should I do about this? So as I mentioned in the previous question, don't rely on the approval of others for the options you have and the actions you take. These friends of yours don't seem authentic if they proceed to berate you in every action you initiate. At the very least, they could present a different attitude towards you if they want to bestow constructive criticism towards you, which doesn't even seem like a case considering they're only insulting you instead of actually explaining why they disagree with whatever you're doing. Anyway, if they continue to exhibit this affirmative behavior, then I would consider if it's really the best idea to continue your friendship with people who treat you this way. I hope my advice is able to help you, and I hope they can actually develop some respect for whatever you do. Okay, so moving on to question 5, which is also the last question for this episode, it reads as follows. Sometimes I hate myself, but sometimes I don't. I don't know how else to explain it. I feel like my view of myself constantly changes. Sometimes I like myself and feel confident, other times I feel like I just completely hate myself. Usually it's because of the fact that I'm not exactly in shape or because of how socially awkward I can be. Sometimes I feel like I don't know who I am anymore. Do I have confidence or not? I wonder this all the time. I like to think of myself as confident and generally outspoken, but sometimes I'm just so awkward and it makes me question myself. Well, to start off, I'm not too sure what you mean by not exactly being in shape, but I assume you mean physically flourishing. Now for example, if let's say you're trying to lose or gain weight, I wouldn't abolish your ambition. Now if it has to do with others berating you on the account of your physical appearance, you have every right to choose how you wish to style yourself, on the account of clothing and physical appearance. I wouldn't neglect those who berate you for the following aspects as to not give them a reaction, as that's what they likely seek. Now I wouldn't berate yourself for being socially awkward, as many people are, and it just means you're being more cautious before engaging in social situations. I would do your absolute best to socially interact with those who intrigue you, because there will be a release of confidence once you overcome your social awkwardness, and you'll feel very proud of yourself afterwards knowing you did. Like I've already mentioned in previous questions, you're your own person, and you shouldn't rely on the approval of others to determine what you do or how you look, because then you won't be expressing the authentic you. Anyway, I hope I was able to help, and I wish you the best of luck in your self-confidence. So that's going to be it for this episode. As always, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications if you enjoyed. I should have another episode out eventually, but until then, I will see you all in the next video.